I was never actually a sprinter, if I'm honest. When I was at school, I was more of a middle distance runner. I've always been quick. I always had a really good turn of pace on the sports field. I did sprint hurdles and 200 meters and long jump and stuff, but I'm more suited to middle distance running. But if I wanted to compete as a Paralympic runner, if I wanted to run at a Paralympic level, sprinting was the only thing available to me back then. There weren't the other events available. There weren't the number of amputees populating the longer distance events. So following Beijing, I did not sprint much more, and I went back to
that middle distance,
back to running, running recreationally. Done a few half marathons, and my standard distance that I go out for is anywhere between 10 and 15 Ks. That sort of stuff keeps me ticking over. Yeah, keeps the dad bod in check, and so.
And I imagine that has given you quite a lot of preparation for, I guess, the astronaut training. How much do you see that overlap of, I guess, that dedication, that having to go out, that constant work? Do you find much of an overlap? Has that been
I do. I think that background I've had in sport has been quite important, actually, because probably one of the reservations that the space agency had about recruiting someone with a physical disability is, right, well, listen, if you're going to go on long duration missions, exercise in space is a big part of that. Yeah. How many people with disabilities exercise 2 hours a day, 6 days a week? Paralympians, right? So from that point of view, maybe it was reassuring for them that I had that background in sports and know my limits as an athlete and my ability to undertake physical exercise. It's tried and tested in me already. It's not something that's new. It's not going to be something that's going to be new for them to explore and potentially be a real source of a problem. Stump health breaking down, for example, would be a real classic one. Someone who goes from just being a recreational exercise.
Yeah, sure.
Someone who does exercise recreationally once or twice a week for a 2-3K jog, going to 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. Certainly as an amputee, you can imagine some difficulties with socket fit and stump health and things like that. So
I guess that was, like you say, probably a real benefit to them because it's your expertise. And I think that's, I imagine that's been a large part of your involvement with the Fly Initiative and looking at what can astronauts do, what do we need to change. I guess actually coming in with someone like you to say, well, I've done this, I've been living and figuring out this thing and been working it out at a very high level, I guess puts you in a great position to actually work really collaboratively with them rather than them try and solve the issue and get you to the right place.
And they've been able to devolve some responsibility to me in terms of my expertise, but so not just the athlete side of stuff as well, but the fact that my bachelor's degree and my master's was sports and exercise science and biomechanics. I know about human performance and stuff, and then medicine as well. I know about health. I know about bones. I know about skin. I know about the human body. So I think I was able to use a lot of that experience to help to help us do the feasibility study. It was really, really beneficial that I could guide them rather than them having to start from scratch with someone who didn't have any of that experience potentially. So